Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. I believe this is episode 154. It's D-Day, and I kind of forgot about till the end of D-Day. Wow, that was a loud sneeze over there. How about that? The suburbs are quiet for the most part, but uh, yeah, sometimes something loud happens, like a sneeze. It's funny because I used to live downtown. I got used to loud noise. I lived in Aurora. There are a lot of loud, and there was another sneeze. A lot of loud noises in my last apartment complex that I worked at, including the first time I ever heard automatic weapon fire. That was frightening. Somebody unloaded a clip of, I don't know what it was. I don't know my guns that well, but it sounded like in the AR-15, AK-47 type of class of assault weapons. It was like fireworks right on my porch, and it was constant. And it was definitely gunfire because I look out the window. Sorry. Well, actually, maybe this is a good way to thread into D-Day with gunfire. And these all these people are running from the leasing office. We overlooked the courtyard that was behind the leasing office, and they're all running towards my apartment because somebody just unloaded like a clip or two. It's about 30 seconds worth of just super loud. It was terrifying. And to not be around that and finally hear it was eye-opening for me. So that does lead pretty well into D-Day, does it not? I've got to rewatch, I should say, Saving Private Ryan about a month ago. I don't know why it came up on Netflix, and I'm not usually the type of guy that takes suggested stuff, but for this, I was like, yeah, this is a hell of a movie. I remember it. I'm gonna say fondly, even though it's a horrific movie to remember, but it's a very well done movie. Uh, you think of all the amazing movies that Steven Spielberg has directed, and that may be the best. It might not, but it's certainly got to be in the top five of his movies. He's an amazing filmmaker, and it's an amazing film. And if you remember it, the first 20 minutes are absolutely horrific. Really well done. That's like five sneezes. I hope that person's okay. It may be allergy season for that person. It's allergy season for me. I've gotten lucky so far. I haven't really suffered. Anyway, back to D-Day, and of course, Saving Private Ryan was about D-Day, basically, and about storming the beaches, Omaha Beach, and the beaches of Western France. To get a toehold in Western Europe against the Germans, where they pretty much had a stronghold. I specialized in World War II history when I was getting my degree, and I specialized basically in the European theater and Nazi Germany, but there's still a ton I don't know. But we did know that it was absolutely horrific for those men that succeeded and those men that tried and died on the sands of that beach. I mean, imagine just trying to swamp yourself out of this boat. These guns are trained right on you and just mowing down your friends, your brothers in arms, and maybe you. And it is just an amazing film to show that. And this was based on a real thing. This wasn't a fake thing. This happened 77 years ago, I believe. I'm not good at math today. But yeah, so it was June 6, 1944. The Germans were finally starting to weaken, but they were still bound and determined to hold, if nothing else, Western Germany. Hitler was going to be fine with losing North Africa. He was going to be fine with losing the Eastern Front to the Russians, and probably writing up another non-aggression pact like he broke in 1939 with Stalin, which was one of the dumbest things he did. But he probably thought, okay, I can hold the walls at Poland and East Germany, and maybe even into Czechoslovakia, and keep claims to that, and the Russians won't care as long as they have their chunk of Eastern Europe. And and then I'll just back up, and I'll probably take over France. I'll take over the so-called Benelux countries: Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Maybe go up into Denmark and take that over. And I'm allied with Italy, and I'll take over France. And I'm allied with Franco in Spain. So yeah, I'll still have all of Western Europe. And so that, I think, was probably the mindset. Not only him, but the generals that still trusted him, if any did at that point, because Hitler made so many stupid moves. One of those stupid moves was, I don't know if it was a stupid move, but he really did not trust General Erwin, God damn it, Erwin Rommel. That's hard for me to say. Did a paper on him some 30 years ago when I was about to graduate college, and it was amazing. For those of you who don't know who Rommel was, he was the Desert Fox, and he was always short on supplies. Why? Because the Italians were supplying him, and they couldn't get him anything from Sicily and southern Italy over to North Africa, where he was. That's why he was called the Desert Fox, because he was fighting against mostly a British General Montgomery, who had every luxury as far as supplies and men and every advantage, and that's why they called him the Desert Fox. Like, this guy just knows how to battle and how to get men not only motivated to do battle for him, but also strategic genius. And so Rommel ended up on the Western Front. I think Hitler didn't trust him, though. Hitler thought he was part of a conspiracy. Because go figure that Hitler was actually kind of paranoid. What a surprise! But Rommel ended up on the Western Front, or at least in France, and he was driving along his Jeep, and Hitler actually tried to have him killed, allegedly. Now, back in these times, you don't know. We didn't have not like we had a cell phone where we just record what was going on. But he, according to Rommel and the person that was driving his Jeep, he was strafed by a Luftwaffe plane, a German airplane, and they tried to gun down his Jeep. They ended up running off the road, crashing into a tree, and Rommel suffered a quadruple head fracture, or skull fracture, excuse me, and he was one of the first people documented to survive a quadruple skull fracture. As you can imagine, that's pretty horrific injuries, and I think he still came back and tried to strategize towards the end of the war, which is an amazing, quality to have. Like, I get a quadruple skull fracture, I'm done. Especially if it's 1943, 44. I'm working for a psycho like Hitler, who thinks I'm plotting against him. And he may have been. We really don't know. A lot of generals were like, this guy, I'm all about Germany, but I'm not all about killing myself or starting a second front in Russia because he wants to rule the whole world. A lot of the generals were not happy with. I mean, there were definitely attempts on Hitler's life. How involved those generals were, we will probably never know. I'm almost 8 minutes into this part of the video, so I'm going to have to do a two-parter. I'm sorry I said I didn't know much, but I'm showing you some stuff I do know about World War II, and maybe this gives you a little background as to why D-Day was so important, and why it almost felt like, I mean, when you see that kind of carnage, especially in film form, like in Saving Private Ryan, but when you talk to those men, who unfortunately very few of them are around anymore, they're all in their 90s at least, and you just see those stories, and you see those men tell those stories, and these old hard, guys that were born in the 1920s and that are breaking down because of these stories, and you see what they went through and the horrors. It's an absolute horror show. It was a horror show for the Germans. It was a horror show for everybody. But you see what those guys went through. It is hard because a lot of people strategize, or there's a lot of theories that D-Day didn't really need to happen. We would have waited it out, would have kept coming from North Africa, where we were winning, where Montgomery was, frankly, Montgomery isn't very well regarded in military history. It just, he would take his time to protect his men, which is honorable, but not really what you do in a war. He took his time cleaning up North Africa after Rommel left. He took his time making his way up the Italian boot and through Sicily, and the Americans would often go ahead of him, and we're like, where's Monty? Where's fucking Montgomery? Because he's taking his sweet ass time, and he's being really, really self-protective. And we got Germans that have more time now to set up mines or set up ambushes in Italy because Monty's taking his fucking time. And so Montgomery is not very well regarded, even though he had his positives, but that. You can ask allies and enemies of Montgomery. They didn't think he was, as far as a strategist, pretty good. As far as a fighter, not so much. So anyway, like I said, I kind of took a tangent there, but that was part of the theory, was that we can, Pincher's movement, the Russians are coming this way, the Allies are coming from the south. The North Sea is there. The Germans can't go anywhere. They can't go up into Scandinavia. They had a toehold in Norway, but that was going to be beaten eventually. So why do we need to come from this way? Well, maybe, as the old saying goes, maybe the French would be speaking German right now if we hadn't. So I'll get in more into this. This became a two-parter. I kind of started monologuing. I apologize, but that's often what I do. Don't know if it's what you came here for, but thanks for listening. That's part one of D-Day. We'll do part two. Thank you. Bye.